Alright, today we're going to be learning about Sculptris. This is the Sculptris workspace. Sculptris is this icon on your desktop. It's also free, so if you guys want to download it at home, you can. When I open up Sculptris, you're going to have to make a new sphere. Usually, for some reason, the user before you will probably have their saved work on there. Don't be afraid of that. Just kind of start a new sphere and say new scene, and you can start off. I have wireframe on. You can turn wireframe off. But if you have wireframe on, it lets you know if your detail is up. What I'd like to do is kind of put all of my sliders for size, strength, and detail kind of in the middle to start off with. I turn off clay. I don't like clay being on. Make sure that invert is not on, and make sure that size and strength are not turned on yet, because it does some funky stuff. Alright, so you're going to be working with the brush tool. We're kind of going to be brushing things out. And what it does is it extrudes out material. Kind of like you're just given a ball of clay and you're asked to, push and pull and manipulate this clay. The left and right bracket buttons are the size of your brush. And that's pretty much what we're going to be using. I use the draw, which is D. If you want to use smooth, to smooth this out, you can, and it kind of smooths it down a little bit. Detail, if you have detail down really low, it doesn't, go back to draw, D. It doesn't add any extra triangles. Do you see that? So it looks kind of polygonal. If I increase the detail a little bit, it will add polygons as it's extruding out, which makes it look a little bit more organic. So what I'm going to show you how to do right now is just make a typical, just a face, a human face. I also have symmetry on because faces are symmetrical. Alright, so I'm going to draw kind of an eyebrow ridge here. Then I'm going to draw a nose kind of pulling out. And as I go over a part, I'm clicking a little bit, clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You can also click and drag. That kind of uses that brush. Invert is X. And then you can actually push in. X pushes in, which is inverse. Alright, so now I'm going to be using my draw again. Turn off invert. Draw a mouth. I usually draw the bottom lip. And now you've kind of got a good nose going. Got a good mouth and some features going. Invert. Go up into the nostrils. I like to zoom in for the nostrils. Alt, right, click. Draw my nostrils up in there. You can actually go pretty deep in there if you wanted to. And right click to kind of scroll around without clicking on anything. Alright. Yes, sir. Okay. I will help you in a moment. Now from here, when you are ready and you're done, or you want to save this, you can save this as a sculpture or Sculptris file. Sculptris is made by Pixelogic, which also makes the ZBrush. I'll put this on my desktop for now. So my last name, first initial, Sculptris face. Alright, and that saves the Sculptris file. That will open this up again so that I can continue working on this file. If I was to kind of draw out some facial features, I make the brush really wide. Like draw out the chin a little bit. That's how I kind of do that. Same with the forehead. Alright, and then you can actually invert and draw, kind of push in the sides of the face a little bit. Draw out a neck if you wanted to. So you actually have to pull out the material if you're going to be making the rest of it. Do you see how I'm kind of pulling out the material to make the rest of the body parts? From here you'd have to pull out more material for the rest of the body. Pull out the arms and shoulders if you're making a person. So you got to kind of start from scratch. All right? Anyway, so I save this file again. And if I'm going to export it as an OBJ, now OBJ files are kind of the universal 3D file that you can use for 3D printing, and it works with almost every different 3D modeling program. Alright, so I've I'll name this face 2, and I'll save that OBJ. What it also works with is Bryce. So I'm going to open up Bryce, and I'm going to go to File and Import Object and import the OBJ. This is where I kind of want you guys to get to. This OBJ can now be imported into Sculptris, or into Bryce, and then I can edit it from here. Alright, I actually have a different view on right now. I have texture shaded view. Default wireframe, it doesn't look very good. But if you click and hold and go to texture shaded, you can still kind of turn this around and see what you got. So in Bryce, it actually just comes in as one object that you could, if you want to change the material on it, you can. But it's going to be one object. So if you wanted different materials, say you have different organics on there, you'd have to have different pieces, different objects brought in. But this will help you when you're trying to work with something that's not just made out of primitives.